Hi dear students, our lesson today is about conditional type 2. So as an objective of this lesson is to enable students to use conditional type 2 to talk about hypothetical holidays. So let's start with the first task. You have to read the extracts and answer these questions. Question number 1. In which country is the writer dreaming of traveling to? Question number 2. What is the writer's favorite artist? Did you hear about that man who won 180 million euros? If I won that much money, I would leave my job immediately. I would travel around the world and stay in the most expensive hotels. I would travel to Australia in winter and come back to London in summer. I would attend Celine Dion's concerts anywhere in the world. If I wanted something, I would buy it. I could do anything if I had 180 million euros. Of course, I would do good things with the money as well. If anybody from my family or friends needed help, I would give them money to help them. I would donate some money to artistic organizations. If I won that much money, I would not keep it all to myself. I would use it to help as many people as possible. Now let's identify the answers. Now let's identify the correct answers. So for question number 1, in which country is the writer dreaming of traveling to? So the correct answer is, of course, Australia. For question number 2, what is the writer's favorite artist? So the appropriate answer is Celine Dion. Yes, okay, so let's start with the first task. You have to read the extracts and answer these questions. Question number 1, in which country is the writer dreaming of traveling to? Question number 2, what is the writer's favorite artist? So let's discover and identify the answers. So for question number 1, as an answer, we have Australia. For question number 2, as an answer, we have Celine Dion. Now we'll move to task number 2. You have to underline in the extract the expression which show that the writer does not have 180 million euros. So let's together identify the answers. So if I had won that much money, I would leave my job immediately. I would travel around the world and stay in the most expensive hotels. I would travel to Australia in winter. If I wanted something, I would buy it. I could do anything if I had 180 million euros. I would do good things with the money as well. If anybody from my family or friends needed help, I would give them money. I would donate some money to artistic organizations. And if I won that much money, I would not keep it all to myself. I would use it to help as many people as possible. Now we are going to move to a matching exercise. So you match the numbers with the letters to form sentences. So for sentence number 1, if I understood Japanese, I would communicate with Wang. Number 2, if I knew the solution to this problem, I would write it down. If I had an engineer diploma, I would find a job immediately. For number 4, if I had a visa, I would go to the USA. And for sentence number 5, if I found a job, I would drop school now. Great. Now let's move to task number 4. You are going to read these sentences and you correct the mistakes. Here you have to pay attention, to the form used. So let's start with the sentence number 1. I don't live near the seaside. If I live near the seaside, I will swim every day. So dear students, so the first mistake here is live. So I'm going to use lived, the simple past, instead of the simple present. The second mistake is will. So I'm going to here, instead of will, we're going to use would. For sentence number 2, my exams will take place soon. If I succeeded, I would go to the university. For number 3, I will be happier if I had a car. I'm tired of buses and taxis. So we're going to say I would be happier. For number 4, what would you do if you are a member of parliament? So what would you do if you were a member of parliament? For sentence number 5, if I am you, or am you, I would try to become a singer. You have such a strong voice. So the mistake here is am. Instead of the simple present, we are going to use the simple past of verb to be. So we say, if I were you. Now, let's move to these situations. So for task number 5, you are going to read through the following situations. Then you need to complete the sentences. Here, we can have different possible answers. So, what would you do in these situations? For situation number 1, if I were traveling to China and was asked about Japan. So, as a possible answer here, we have, just to pay attention to the form. So, as a possible answer, we can say, I would say that they are the same, or I would say that they look like. For sentence number 2, if I was having a meal in a restaurant with Australian tourists, as a possible answer we can say, I would suggest eating Moroccan dish. For sentence number 3, if I asked an American friend to do something and he said, sorry, I can't do it, I would say, that's okay. For number 4, if I was invited to a British person's home at 8 p.m., as a possible answer, you can say, I would go on time. Number 5, if a French tourist asked me the way, I would help him or her. And the last question, if I meet a group of foreigners who mistook me for a businessman, I would explain to them that I'm a student, or I would say I'm a student. Okay? Now let's move to task number 6. So Jane is a middle school student. Look at the pictures and imagine what she is thinking about. As you can see, we have 6 pictures. So for picture number 1, Hollywood. Okay, so as a possible answer, we can say, if I were an actress, I would go to Hollywood. For picture number 2, we have Disneyland. We can say, if I travel to the USA, I would visit Disneyland. Picture number 3, if I won a lot of money, I would buy an expensive car. Picture number 5, if my parents retired, I would travel with them to Thailand. And the last picture, if I went to Marrakesh, I would visit this luxurious hotel. Now, dear students, you have to do this homework. You are going to ask your family members what they would do if they were offered a 2-week holiday in Hawaii. Then you have to report their ideas to the whole class. So at the end of this lesson, let's review the grammatical rule for conditional type 2. So, as you can see, we have two clauses, the if clause and the main clause. So for the if clause, we have to use the past tense, and for the main clause, we have to use would plus infinitive without to. As examples, if I had a lot of money, I would travel around the world. Or we can say also, I would travel around the world if I had a lot of money. I would travel around the world if I were rich. Or if I were rich, I would travel around the world. What is essential here is to respect the grammatical rule. Okay? Thanks for your attention. Bye.